Noorsign Books presents Ramadan Miracles, Stories of Faith Found in the Ordinary. The Night Driver by Zaman. Part 3. Before the dawn. The truck is wounded, the bonus is dead, and the silence of the savannah has finally forced Abshir to listen. For years, he thought the road was his escape. Now, standing under the fading stars of Tsavo, he realizes it was only a long detour. One phone call, one promise to a mother. Abshir is about to find out that the heaviest load he ever carried wasn't cement. It was the distance between him and home.
For a heartbeat, he couldn't speak. "Hello? Who is this?" his mother repeated, louder now, fear sharpening the edges. He swallowed. "Hoyo, it's me. It's Abshir." There was a tiny gasp, then a rush of sound, half sob, half laughter. "Ya Allah, Abshiro, is it you? Are you okay? Where are you? Why you don't?" Her words tumbled over each other in Somali and English. He closed his eyes, letting the sound wash over him like cold water. "I'm okay," he said, voice rough. "Truck broke in Tsavo, but I'm alive." "Alhamdulillah," she breathed. He could picture her pressing a hand to her chest. "Since when are you in Tsavo? Since when are you alive?" Her voice cracked. "You disappear months. No call. I think maybe Allah took you and forgot to tell me." "I'm sorry," he said. The word felt small next to the years. "For what?" she demanded, hurt hiding inside the anger. "For not calling? For not visiting? For making me die 10 times whenever I hear a driver has crashed?" "For all of that," he whispered. "For the way I left. For the things I said to Abo. For not coming when he..." The sentence choked. Silence hummed on the line. "We will talk about your father another time," she said at last, softer. "He is with Allah now. You are with me. That is enough for today." He let out a breath he hadn't known he was holding. "Hoyo," he said, "I was trying to get a bonus. Big one. For you. For Hajj. This trip. But the truck broke. Bonus is gone." He braced for the sigh, the disappointment. Instead, she laughed, a wet, incredulous sound. "You think I asked you for Hajj in Unkega? You always..." "I ask Allah," she cut in. "I say, give me Hajj if it's good for me. Give me your house if my heart can carry it. You are only one possible door. Maybe he will open you, maybe another." Her voice softened. "My bigger dua was different." "What?" he asked. "That he brings you home before he brings me to him. To see your face, to have you in my house for Eid, to know you are not a name on a police report." The words cracked something open in him. "I don't know how to be there," he admitted, shame raw. "I only know how to be on the road. I don't know how to sit in your house and not think about leaving." "You think any of your brothers knew how to be husbands?" she scoffed gently. "We all learn. We fall, we get up. You think I knew how to live without your father? I am still learning. Come, we will learn together." Her voice tightened. "Before Eid, promise me." He looked at his crippled truck, at the pale morning sky. Tsavo felt less like a trap, more like a crossroads. "I promise." "Wallahi?" "Wallahi." "Good." He could hear her shuffling, already organizing. "I will tell your brothers. We will clean, we will cook. I will sit on the stairs every evening until you knock." He smiled through the ache. "Don't tell them everything. I don't want a welcoming committee with sticks. They will only hit you with hugs. Maybe shoes, we will see." They spoke of small things, her blood pressure, power cuts, a neighbor's engagement, ordinary details that felt like miracles. When they finally hung up, the park looked the same. The truck was still broken. The bonus was still dead. But some heavier weight had shifted. Abshir slipped his phone into his pocket, fingers brushing Zak's folded dua. "O Allah, mend what is broken between us." He looked toward the brightening sky. "Maybe," he murmured, "you already started." 3 days later, Nairobi greeted him with the same cracked concrete and diesel breath. But as Abshir rolled through the depot gate, patched radiator humming, it was as if the whole yard had shifted half a step to the left. He parked in his usual spot and climbed down. Yusuf stalked out of the office, hands on hips. "Mr. Tsavo," he called, "you remembered we have a depot, or you decided you like camping with hyenas?" Abshir dropped the keys into his palm. "Your truck is back. Mechanic's report is in the glove box." "And my bonus?" Yusuf raised an eyebrow. "Buried," Abshir said. "You did the janaza by phone." Yusuf snorted. "Boss is not happy. But these machines, sometimes they break, sometimes they explode, sometimes they refuse to start, like you. Next time, call faster, and no more passengers, even if it's the whole Quran wearing shoes." Abshir's mouth twitched. He almost was. "Go home," Yusuf grumbled. "Sleep. Come after Eid. Inshallah, you still have a job. See what Allah writes." "Yusuf." "What?" "Thank you," Abshir said simply. The supervisor blinked, thrown by the softness. "Ramadan is making you weak," he muttered. "Get out of here." As Abshir turned, a voice from the office radio snagged his ear. And in religious news, the National Quran Recitation Competition concluded last night in Mombasa Jamia Mosque. In the 19 to 25 category, first place went to Muhammad Ali of Garissa. Second place went to Nairobi's own Zakaria Hassan. Abshir stopped. The announcer continued, amused. When asked who he dedicates his award to, the clip played. Zak's voice, slightly echoing, came through. "I dedicate it to my mother, who woke me for tahajjud even when I was lazy. To my ustad, who beat tajweed into my head nicely." Laughter rippled behind him. "And to all the drivers and workers on the road in Ramadan, who sacrifice nights with their families to keep food and cement and fuel moving. May Allah give them safe journeys and bring them home before the dawn." Static crackled. The news moved on. Are you listening to the whole bulletin? You think they'll announce your name next?" "No," Abshir said slowly. "My news is somewhere else." He walked out of the gate, the phrase echoing inside him. "Bring them home before the dawn." For the first time in years, his feet didn't turn automatically toward his lonely room in Pipeline. They carried him instead toward a row of cramped shops. Inside a small clothing store, abayas and jilbabs swayed from crowded racks. A niqab-wearing woman behind the counter looked up. "Salam." "Wa alaikum salam." He cleared his throat. "I need a jilbab, for a mother. Simple, good." She eyed him, then pulled down a black one, plain and neat. He nodded. "Gift wrap?" she asked. He hesitated, then said yes. At the next shop, he added a small box of ajwa dates. Under his arm, the 2 items felt heavier than 20 tons of cement. On the Matatu to Eastleigh, he clutched the wrapped gift like fragile cargo. Stickers shouted from the windows. God's plan. No money, no love. Ramadan Kareem. Eastleigh's streets were alive. Lanterns strung between balconies, smoke from frying sambusas, kids with sparklers, women bargaining over fabric in rapid Somali. He stepped off at a familiar corner. The building where his mother lived loomed, tired but stubborn. A hand-painted banner over the entrance read, "Ramadan Kareem, Welcome Mercy." His heart thud. This time, he wasn't driving through. He was arriving. The stairwell smelled of dust, frying onions, and old memories. On the third-floor landing, he paused. A familiar sound drifted through the open window. His mother's voice, reciting Quran in that sing-song rise and fall he'd grown up with. وَإِنَّ اللَّهَ سَيَأْتِي بِقَوْمٍ يُحِبُّهُمْ وَيُحِبُّونَهُ. Her favorite section, Surah Al-Ma'idah. The door to the flat was half open, propped with a slipper. The smell from inside hit him. Cardamom, onions, something sweet in the oven. The smell of a house wrapping itself in Ramadan. He raised his hand to knock. Footsteps thumped inside. The door swung wider, and his eldest brother appeared, gas cylinder under one arm. He almost collided with Abshir. For a second, his face was blank. Then shock rearranged it. "Abshir?" he said. "Salam, Adair," Abshir replied, voice suddenly small. His brother's mouth worked around words, then settled on a crooked half-smile. "You took your time," he said. "Hoyo has been making dua on these stairs every night." He stepped aside. The sitting room was crowded. Nieces bickered over a toy. A little boy drove a plastic truck along the sofa's arm. A cousin's wife shelled peas with a neighbor, their conversation a fast river of Somali. Near the kitchen doorway, Fartun stood. Dua beads looped on her wrist, scarf slightly slipped. She turned at the sound. Her hands stilled. The beads slid and clattered onto the floor. "Abshiro," she breathed. He tried to speak. Nothing came. She crossed the room faster than he thought she could move and threw her arms around him. She felt smaller, lighter, but the grip was the same, fierce, claiming. He stiffened, then melted. The wrapped jilbab squashed between them. "You are here," she sobbed into his chest. "You are really here. I thought Allah took you and only forgot to tell me." "I'm here," he said. "I'm sorry, Hoyo." She pulled back just enough to swat his arm. "Sorry?" she scolded through tears. "What will I cook with your sorry? Eat it with rice?" Then she grabbed his face in both hands, palms warm. "You are here," she repeated, calmer now. "That is enough. Allah brought my son home before the dawn." She kissed his forehead, once, twice, the way she had on his first day of school. Around them, the room had fallen silent. Children peered over cushions. Siblings hovered, faces caught between resentment and relief. "You all stand there like you're watching TV," Fartun snapped. "Come, greet your brother. He didn't die. Yet." Laughter, shaky but real, broke the tension. His younger brother stepped forward, belly bigger, hairline thinner. "Adair," he said, no longer mocking. "Bro," Abshir replied. They hugged awkwardly, two men who had learned how to carry loads, but not always feelings. A small niece tugged his sleeve. "Are you the uncle on the road?" she whispered loudly. "The one Hoyo makes dua for every night?" "Yes," Fartun said proudly. "This is that one." "Do you sleep inside the truck?" a little boy asked, eyes shining. "Sometimes," Abshir admitted. "Wow," the boy breathed. "Let him sit," Fartun ordered. "Bring tea, bring some booze. Eid came early." He thrust the wrapped box toward her. "For you," he said. "It's not Hajj, but..." She took it gently. "Every time I wear it, I will say, 'My son bought this when he came home,'" she said. "It will be my ihram until Allah gives me another." They laughed, and the room warmed and for the first time in years, he broke his fast not alone in a cab, but shoulder to shoulder on a worn sofa, his mother fussing over how much he ate. That night, after Tarawih at the local masjid, the rooftop was almost empty. The city hummed below, distant football commentary, clatter from late-night stalls, a generator's steady grind. Above, Nairobi's sky glowed faintly, but between the haze, stars still pricked through. Abshir spread his old mat on the concrete, The same mat that had tasted Tsavo dust now lay above his mother's house. He stood facing Qibla. Allahu Akbar. Ruku', sujud, tashahhud, the movements as familiar as gear shifts. But in sujud, his forehead pressed into warm concrete, not cold earth. The weight in his chest was different, lighter somehow, yet more real. He stayed down longer. Zak's scribbled dua echoed in his mind, blending with his own words. O Allah, mend what is broken between us. Place love where there was bitterness. Forgive us for what we did and what we failed to do. Return the lost to their families before the day you return us all to you. Faces flickered behind his closed eyes. His father, stern then softer. Zak on the roadside, thumb out. Laban grinning in Tsavo dawn. His mother on the stairs, waiting. Yusuf pretending not to care. He sat back on his heels. The edge of the rooftop framed the city lights like a low horizon. For years, the road had been everything. His pride, his escape, his excuse. Kilometers were his calendar, depots his only addresses. Now, for the first time, it felt like what it really was. A means, not an end. A path that could carry him out and then, if he chose, carry him back. He thought of Zak in Mombasa, voice pouring Surah Yusuf into a packed mosque. Of the driver somewhere in that crowd who might have heard the dedication and felt a tug toward home. May Allah bring them home before the dawn, Zak had said. Abshir looked toward the invisible line where the highway slipped out of Nairobi toward Tsavo, toward the coast, toward 1,000 journeys. He smiled, small and real. The road would still call him. Work would still demand long nights and dusty mornings. There would be more weighbridges, more bosses, more cracked hoses. But now, when he drove into the darkness, he would know exactly where home was, and who was making dua for his return. He lifted his hands one more time, the city's breath rising around him. Ya Rab, he whispered, you brought me back before the dawn. Don't let me run away again. Somewhere from a nearby building, a Quran recitation floated up, Surah Yusuf, the verse of reunion. And he brought together for him his parents. Abshir's eyes stung. Beneath the faint stars of Nairobi, with diesel still in his clothes and his mother's kitchen below his feet, the night driver finally rested. Not at a truck stop. At home.
You've been listening to the conclusion of The Night Driver, a Noorsign Books original by Zaman. Abshir finally found his way home, and we hope this story helped you find a piece of yours. Sometimes, the greatest miracle of Ramadan isn't the destination we reach, but the hearts we mend along the way. If you want to hear more stories that illuminate the modern Muslim experience, please subscribe and join our inner circle at noorsignbooks.com. Get the full Ramadan Miracles collection on Google Play Books. Until next time, may your heart always find its light. Jazakumullah khairan.